Hi everybody, Arnon in the house. Good to be here. Looking forward to the session. I am in my mobile office today. Yes, I am in my car. And just a change of scenery a little bit. So good to be here. Renee, good to have you. Carmen, great to have you. Australia's in the house. Spain, España is in the house. Yeah, so today's session, very, very cool session, is overcoming common challenges that business owners faced by small businesses. Okay, so let's dive right into it. I told you guys every week or before every session, my team present me ideas on what we should talk about based on feedback, based on DMs that we get, and so I always look into those DMs and think, okay, what is something that I can share from my experience building, owning, growing, buying, exiting businesses, and helping business owners, business leaders like yourselves from all over the world. And so let's dive right into this. So what are some of the challenges that business owners face and how to overcome them? So I've pinpointed 3, and you've probably heard me speak about these things in the past, and I'm going to speak about them again. New year, new opportunity. 2023 is with us, but same old. The messages don't change. The way we succeed, grow businesses, develop ourselves, the way to win the money game, how to win the business game, those things don't change. They're pretty much the same. Okay? So I'm gonna dive into 3 things that I think are really important, okay? And how you can overcome them. Number 1, a lot of businesses, one of the challenges they face, one of the challenges that a lot of businesses, business owners, business leaders face is cash flow, money. And it all boils down to a lot of business owners not planning well financially, not understanding when money comes in, what is theirs, what is the government's, when I say the government's, taxes, right? What costs they have, what are their overheads, what are their expenses. And one of the ways, and by the way, let me say this. I believe every business in some shape, in some form, at some point in time, in its lifespan, a business has a lifespan. Every business in some shape, some form, at some time, has what I call cash flow issues, cash flow problems. Every business, at different scales, but every business sometimes has cash flow issues. And so if you're a business right now where you're facing some challenges with cash flow, welcome to the club. It's just part of owning a business, right? Being a business owner. Now, how do you overcome that challenge, right? One of the key things is you've got to focus on money management, or what I call money mastery. And we teach this at a great program called the Millionaire Mind Intensive. And it's written about in many different books. But basically, you've got to start being aware of the money that comes in, the money that belongs to you, and money that you can use, and money that belongs to the government, commissions to other people, whatever it is, right? But the key thing is that a lot of businesses face cash flow issues, cash flow problems. And one of the ways you can face that challenge head on and solve it is by managing and mastering your money. Okay? If you just spend, you are going to create an emergency. Okay? So you've got to be aware of what comes in, what's going out, what belongs to you, and what belongs to the others, i.e. the government, the tax man. It's very important. And what I do is in my business account, I actually have my main account where money flows into, and then I have sub accounts. So I have like a marketing account. I have a tax account. So whenever I get paid, let's say I get paid, $10,000, 10,000 euros, 10,000 pounds, whatever it is, right? If I get paid 10,000 pounds, I automatically, in my mind, I take 30% out of the 10K and I put 3K into my tax account. Why? Because whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not, the tax man is coming for you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in a week, maybe not in a month, maybe not in a year. But guess what? The tax man ain't forgetting about you. So I like to be prepared. So I would put, 30% of that money into my tax account. It's just a savings account, basically, that I've gone to my bank and I've said, listen, instead of giving me one saving account, I want 5 saving accounts. Okay, it's so important. You've got to be able to recognize what comes in, what is yours, what belongs to others. Very important. So that's the first challenge that I see a lot of business owners face. Be very clear about what money's coming in, what are your expenses, what's going out, what's the tax man's, what is really triple net profit, cash, cash, cash. What is yours? Okay. So I think that's one big challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs, businesses face. Okay. So the way you overcome it is by managing your money, mastering your money. Number one. Another challenge that I see a lot of business owners face is team issues, team problems. Now, you have to, I talk about this in my book, right? And Robert Kiyosaki talks about the cash flow quadrant. He says there's employees, there's self-employed people, then there's business owners, and then there are investors, right? He's got 4 quadrants. Employees, the E's, the SEs, self-employed people, the B's, the business owners, and the I's, the investors. But I think Robert missed something in that equation, because I think in the B section, where he talks about business owners, I think that needs to be broken down into 2 sections, which again, I talk about in my book, Rebel Entrepreneur, right? And the distinction between the B's, I think they're business owners and they're business operators. Now, a lot of people think they own a business, but they are the operators. They do the marketing, they do the sales, they do the delivery, they do the back end, the invoicing, they do so many things. They do the, customer relations, they do customer care, they do R&D, product development, etc., etc., etc. So, and there's nothing wrong with that if you love what you're doing. But the reason I bring up the second point is that if you want to take your business to the next level, you have to surround yourself with great people, with great team members. Now, 2 challenges I see with business owners in the space of building great teams. Number one, a lot of people are stuck in the mindset that only I can do it, or only I can do it right. Or it's very hard to find people that can do it great. And so they have a hard time delegating, okay? And that comes from many different reasons. One of the reasons is because, again, they feel like only I can get it right, or they feel they can't trust other people. People say, oh, if you want it done right, do it yourself. That is a very, very, very bad mindset to have, because you can't scale, you can't grow, and you will never experience true freedom if you have a mindset of only I can do it. Oh, if you want it done right, do it yourself. Okay? You've also got to create an environment where your team members feel safe to fuck it up and make mistakes. If your team feel like, listen, I'm not intentionally trying to mess it up, I'm not intentionally trying to make a mistake, but I know that if I mess up or make a mistake, my boss, my leader, the person I work with, the group that I serve will be understanding, and I will learn from this mistake to do better so it never happens again. That's a great environment to be in. So when building a team, 2 big challenges I see business owners have. Number one, they think nobody can do it better themselves. You gotta trust and you gotta let go. Otherwise, you'll never experience true freedom. Also, a big problem with that is that when you come to sell the business today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, if it's you're the biggest cog in the wheel. When you come to sell the business, a person doing their due diligence, they'll look at the business and say, okay, look, we want to buy the business, but you have to stay for 28 years. Because you do everything. And so you've got to remember, being a person who's big into M&A, mergers and acquisitions, I buy companies, I grow companies. When I see a business where it's the owner, I'm like, I can't buy this company unless the owner stays on board at least 3, 4, 5 years, at least. Because If I buy the company and the guy turns around or the gal turns around and says, well, after 6 months, I want to leave, well, then I've bought a business that is unoperational, and I'm certainly not an operator. And this is what I talk about, where the distinction between what Robert Kiyosaki says and what I say in my book. There's business owners and business operators. And you've got to decide for yourself, when you have a business, are you an operator or are you an owner? And that's one of the things that I coach my clients on. I teach them how to go from slaves in their business, operators, how to go from being a slave in the business to becoming a business owner, to becoming what I call a wealth creator. So I'm a wealth creator today. And that's what I help people do. One of the things. So the second challenge, like I said, is a lot of business owners, they struggle with building teams, delegating to teams. That area is a big challenge for a lot of business owners and business leaders. So number one, cash flow issues, managing your money, mastering your money. Number two is building great teams, creating that freedom, and building a business that can ultimately sell. Because a lot of people start a business, but they don't think, well, what's my exit strategy here? How do I get out? Tomorrow I wake up in the morning and I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore. Okay, what's your exit strategy? And that's why it's also powerful to hire a great team, build a great team, because ultimately, if you feel pissed off or you don't like the business anymore, and it's not built on you, you're a true business owner, you've actually created a legal money-making machine. A machine that works without you, that is constantly printing money for you. Make sense? So, second challenge that I see that a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners face is they don't build great teams. Now, the third thing that I see, again, probably spoken about this in the past, is that a lot of business owners fall into what I call shiny object syndrome. And again, you've heard me say this in the past, where they're involved in a project or they focused on an industry or a niche or an area or an arena of business, and all of a sudden they're walking down the street and they look across the road and they're like, oh, there's something shiny on the other side of the road. Let's go try it out. Let's go test it. Let me go see what that's about. And one of the reasons that happens is because a lot of business owners get what I call bored. Now, in psychology, what's really interesting, the neuroscience behind boredom in business, we tend to hit a place of boredom the moment we hit a place of mastery. Not always, but a lot of the times. When people get like, oh, I'm so bored, I've been in this business for 10 years already, I've been doing the same thing day after day. That is actually a sign that you have reached a level of mastery. And the reason I share this is because instead of stepping out of your business or falling into the, oh, I want to do something else with my life, try to think how you can use all this years of experience to maybe teach other people how to do it, right? Because you're still in the same industry, same niche. You're just starting in you're just doing something a little bit with a twist, but you're still focusing on whatever area or business space you're in. How can I teach? Because remember, every business is not only a service business or a product providing business or an adding value business. Every business is also an information business. So, for example, if you built a business on how to import clothes, you could also start a program to teach people how to get your line of clothing from idea to in the shops. And you can teach a 10 steps method. Or if you own a beauty salon, you can teach people who want to start a beauty salon how to start your own beauty salon and turn it into a massive success or into 6 figures in 12 months or less. Whatever it is, every business is not only a business, it's also an information business. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of business owners fall into, a lot of business leaders face the challenge of shiny object syndrome. They get bored, they get tired, they see something shiny on the other side of the road and they want to do something else. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm a little bit bored about doing what I'm doing. the industry hasn't evolved much. You know, I'm at a place where I can do this with my eyes closed. See how you can grow from there. See how you can use that experience in the industry you have to maybe buy other businesses in the space, or to franchise your model, or license your model, or to create a training around helping other people do what you do. And maybe you train them, you take half a fee, and then you take 5% of the royalties of their new business, and you coach them for an extra 12 months to make sure they succeed. All I'm saying is that don't fall into the, I've been doing this for 5-10 years and I want to do something completely different. It'd be such a shame, because here's the key. Sometimes you have to work 10 years really hard to get the 1 year that completely changes your life. And by the way, sometimes you get to a place where you're doing it for 10 years and you're like, fuck this, I want to do something else. Which is such a shame, because that is actually where the greatest opportunities lie. You can do this with your eyes closed. So I guess what this relates to is also having the power, the ability, and the mindset to recognize your board, to understand you're at a level of mastery, and that's when you need to say to yourself, how can I play a bigger game? So if you have one business that's doing this, why don't I buy another business in another area or another country, or dominate the province, or dominate the UK or Australia or whatever it is, wherever you're at? How do you become the number one player? Maybe get invited on podcasts, write a book. Like, just stay in the industry. Don't jump from row to row. You know, there's a great story of this family, husband and wife. They go into this not playground. They go into a theme park. They go to a theme park, and they take their 2 kids to the theme park, and they see this roller coaster ride, and they're like, oh, we want to go on the roller coaster ride as a family, right? And they get in line, and they're waiting in line, and they're waiting in line, and it's a long ass line, and they're waiting 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes, and they're like, man, if we wait in this line all day, we're not going to experience the rest of the park, because look how long the line is. So they say, screw this, let's go onto another roller coaster. So they're walking in the theme park, and they see another roller coaster ride. They're like, oh, that looks so much fun. Let's go into that roller coaster ride. And then what do? They get in line again, and they're waiting 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. And the mom and the dad and the kids are like, we can't wait any longer. This is irritating. So they get out of line. And they keep on doing this back and forth. And at the end, they've spent the whole day at the theme park, and they haven't gone on one ride. Why? Because they keep on getting in and out of the line. And a lot of people play the game of life like that. They get into a line, they stay in the line, in the game, in the job, in the industry for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then they leave. They get into another line. And guess what? You never get a medallion, you never get a medal for not finishing a race. So if you run a race, or if you only stay in a line for 80% of the time and you don't see it through, if you don't play till the end, you don't get a medal. You don't get anything. And so don't fall into the shiny object syndrome. Finish what you start. Think bigger. Don't get bored. Pivot, evolve, but stay in the space. So I hope you guys got value out of the session today. Amazing to come to you live from a different office, my mobile office. And I'm looking forward to sharing some more words of wisdom with you on a Wednesday with Arnon next week. Wednesday, same place, same time. Till then, be strong, be powerful, be passionate. And I'd love to hear from you guys. If there's anything specific you'd like me to talk about, drop me a DM, and we'll take a look at it and take it into consideration. So be well. Renee, great to see you. You're welcome. And have a great day. Sonia, you're welcome. And talk soon. Ciao.